What's up, everyone? Today, I'll be doing a roller coaster review of Afterburn at Carowinds, and this is a coaster I know all too well, and have plans to ride it actually tomorrow because I'm going to Carowinds tomorrow at the time of this recording, and I will ride some roller coasters and make some POVs and take some footage. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get started. Now let's go over the stats. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention. Let's go back for a second. I forgot to mention. And if you don't know how this reviews work, go check out my first video of this review. It's a Raptor review. It's on the channel. So yeah, you just watch that. See how my reviews work. Basically, it's pretty simple. I just go over certain aspects of the ride and talk about it and talk about my final score, which is, I renamed it to the adrenaline score. So yeah, that'll be in all my future reviews. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start with the stats. Alright, this roller coaster it has a height of 113 feet. I have to make a comment. Whenever you're top of the slip tool, it does not feel like 113 feet. Like, it feels something like 160, maybe 170. I don't know why. It just feels really high up. I don't really know why. It was probably because of the first tall roller coaster I've ridden, so I still have that in me. So yeah, speed 63 miles per hour, which is kind of impressive for just a 113 foot tall roller coaster. And then he has a track height of 2,956. You know, it's not that long of a ride, but I wouldn't call it really a short ride, but it has some flaws. Hint, hint. Alright, so it has 6 inversions, which is really good. This ride packs in a lot in what amount of space it has. And this coaster really does good doing it. It's a very intense ride. And this thing has a duration of 2 minutes and 47 seconds, which, you know, it kind of feels shorter than that once you're on the ride. But, you know, yeah, it has really good inversions. You know, it's really good experience. So let's move on. Let's move on to the layout. So the first thing you go up is the lift hill. Then you hit the drop. Then you go into the vertical loop. Then you hit an Immelman loop, which is pictured right here. Then you hit the 0G roll. Then the bat wing, which is 2 inversions. Then the corkscrew. So let's take a look at that. Alright, so I give credit to Coaster Force for this POV of Afterburn at Carowinds. So yeah, first you start with the dispatch out of the station and straight up into the lift hill. Now yeah, like I said before, this lift hill is like, you know, it feels taller than it is. You know, it's pretty loud, like all B&M inverts. You know, the lift hill's loud. You look to the right, you see Carolina Harbor, and you used to be able to see Chandler Road, but they took that out. And Plants vs Zombies. And like to the left, you see Intimidator, which is a good roller coaster. And Dinosaurs Alive, which is rumored to be taken out. Hopefully it does and get replaced by a new roller coaster. Yeah, Carowinds needs that new roller coaster. They need to keep up that top performance lineup. Okay, so yeah, then you hit this really good drop, which I really like the drop. And you fly first into that loop. Then you fly into the Immelman. Then you hit the 0G roll. Then you hit the Batwing, which I think is probably my favorite part of the ride. You know, it's a very intense inversion. Sometimes they have smoke there, which brings the atmosphere of the ride. Then you hit kind of a brake run. I don't really call it a brake run. There's no brakes on it, but it slows down a little bit. But I'm glad it doesn't have a Oh yeah, then you hit the corkscrew. Then you hit a helix. And then the final brake. So yeah. Yeah, as you saw, that ride was over pretty fast, but it packs in a punch in a little amount of time that it does. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to the draws and flaws. Now, the draws about this ride, let's just look at the number one thing that makes this coaster stand out and is the best thing about it, is the intensity. This roller coaster is intense. All the way through this ride, it's intense. There's no breaks, unless you can really count the kind of like I don't know what you call it. I guess maybe an airtime hill. I forgot what I called it before, but it's basically where you just like come up and you go back down. There's no inversions in it. I guess I could call it like maybe a speed bump, because you know it does bump your speed. But yeah, that's really the only part that slows down the ride. But they need that to keep up a good capacity. So yeah, let's move on to this thing. I'm talking about just playing out inversions. And the inversions are really good and really intense in this ride. But the thing about the inversions is there's a variety. There's not just like 3 vertical loops and 2 Immelmans and a cobra roll. You know, there's nothing like that. That's a variety. They have all different types of inversions, and they're placed out all separately. You know, you don't just go into a corkscrew and then another corkscrew. You know, there's nothing like that. They're all placed out separately. There's nothing really like the same in the ride. So that's really what I like about Afterburn. Let's move on to the smoothness. Now this roller coaster is, for the most part, a very smooth ride. The only rattly parts and kind of headbanging parts will be on like the endings and the inversions. But yeah, I'll get to that later. Now let's move on to the restraints. I really like the over shoulder restraints. I do not really like the vest restraints, as you get no hang time and they kind of hurt. Also, now I kind of know a little trick, I guess. No, I don't know which one works better, but I know two. One is to stick your head out, like all the way over the restraints so they don't bang. But they said that hurts your neck, and I think I got my neck banged around a couple times when I tried to do that. Another thing is just to keep your neck back and head back the whole ride, and force it back. But I don't know. I don't know which one works the best. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Now let's move on to the next thing. No mid-course brake runs or trims. There's no noticeable trims, at least, or mid-course brake runs on this ride. You know, as you watch a POV or if you've ridden Raptor, my favorite being an invert at Cedar Point, that roller coaster has quite a lot of trims and a mid-course brake run, but this coaster doesn't. Now, let's just say Afterburn was a contender for #1 being an invert just because it was so intense, because there was no mid-course brake run. But there is that kind of like a little speed bump, but it doesn't have any trims on it or nothing, so I really like it. But like, if Raptor didn't have that mid-course brake run, I really think it would have been too intense. I might not even enjoyed it as much, but who knows? It's there. I think they may take it off sometimes, but that would really decrease the capacity. You know, the trains would get backed up too. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. Oh, this coaster is forceful. Yes, you feel the drop on this ride. You know, not many B&M inverts really. You don't really feel the drop, especially on Banshee. That ride's forceless. That's the main complaint about that ride. And if you really want to hear a rant about that ride, go watch my review of that ride. But back to Afterburn. Yeah, this ride is forceful. You know, you feel your stomach come out of your You feel butterflies in your stomach every time you go up the side down on this ride. Every time you drop, even on the speed bump, you have some force on it. Now let's move on to the bad things about this ride. Now I only listed 3. I know I listed a ton for the draws because this is a fantastic ride, but I only listed 3 for this. So let's start with the main thing about this ride that's bad, and that is the mild roughness and headbanging about this ride. Now, this ride, as you know, you go through the transitions and the inversions. You will witness a little bit of headbang, but you gotta know how to place your head right. If you place your head right, you will have a perfectly smooth ride, and this ride will not disappoint and will be one of the best roller coasters. It's the best coaster at carowinds. I can see some debate for this roller coaster being the best coaster at carowinds, but that's the video for another day. Now let's move on to another fall. Let's check out the short track length. This roller coaster is pretty short. I think it comes over like 2,600 feet of track. You know, it's not really that long. It's not really that short either, but it feels short. Like, it feels like it could pack a little bit more in. I think that's just the feeling because it packs so much in a little amount of space. Like, I don't know. I really don't, like, I feel like it should leave a little bit more room, maybe, in between its inversions so the ride's longer. But, you know, it won't be that intense either. And that's what Afterburn really, you know, excels in. So it's kind of like, you know, you take one or leave one. But I think Afterburn did a good job, and you know, it's really deserving of being the #3 coaster at carowinds. Now let's move on to the third thing. Now this time it's sometimes too intense. So let me just get to this. If you constantly marathon this roller coaster without eating or drinking, or you ride it the wrong way, you get headbanging, you experience maybe this coaster being too intense. Like all the blood rushes to your feet and stuff. And you start to get a headache because you know this ride's too intense. You know, this ride is very intense. It's not a mild or tame ride. So if you get headaches easily, I wouldn't suggest riding this ride because you probably will get a headache, and all the feet will your feet will go numb too. So yeah, that's kind of a flaw, but it's just a little flaw about it. You know, sometimes it gets too intense. You know, it makes you not really want to ride it because I rode it like 3 times. in like row 7 one time because it was like very short. We just kept on going through and through like 3 times till someone came in row 7, and like I had a headache. I really had, because this roller coaster is really intense. You know, you really can't ride it back to back like you can on other roller coasters like Intimidator or maybe Fury. Okay, let's move on. Now this is my final adrenaline score, and I'm giving this ride a 7 out of 10. The same I give Raptor, because there's only I think Raptor's only a little bit better than Afterburn. There's not really a big gap, but I do think it's better. But let's just get back to Afterburn. This is a really good roller coaster, and I think it's really deserving of 7 out of 10, possibly even higher. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll get a really good ride on it when I go tomorrow. Or maybe I get a really bad ride on it. You know, that happens a lot too. So yeah, this is a really good roller coaster at Carowinds. It's a B&M inverter roller coaster. If you didn't know, it came out in 1999. So yeah, it's a really good ride. You should really get out there to Carowinds and ride it. Not just for this, for Intimidator and Fury 2. And, you know, we're just hoping for that new roller coaster coming in 2019. Alright, so thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time.